From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN 10 o'clock news.
Well, a few hours before it's 2021 here in Montana, but they are getting ready to leave 2020 behind on the east side of the United States right now. This is a live look from Times Square in New York City, where they're getting ready to drop the ball there. The celebration, of course, going to be much different than in years past. They won't be allowing spectators there this year. That's just one of the celebrations. This is one of the first ones here of the new year from Sydney, Australia, where they lit up the night sky with this pyrotechnics show from the iconic harbor side there. Well, good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Russ Riesinger. From New York to London and around the world, millions are welcoming 2021 after a year almost everyone wishes it never happened. CBS News correspondent Nancy Chen is in Times Square with the story.
Across the globe, muted celebrations mark the end of a devastating year. In New York's Times Square, there were no massive crowds. Instead, the crossroads of the world was closed to the public because of the coronavirus. But as it has since 1907, the legendary crystal ball will still drop at the stroke of midnight, ushering in what many hope will be a far better year.
Thank God it's over. Start fresh tomorrow. Stamp this virus out and get on with our lives.
A special program is honoring the heroes of 2020.
This is the first year since 1904 that crowds haven't been allowed to gather here in Times Square. Even when the ball drop was canceled for 2 years during World War II, people still came here to hold a moment of silence.
On Bourbon Street in New Orleans, revelers gathered during the day, but the pandemic was on the minds of many.
It's a whole lot different with the COVID, for sure.
In Europe, there were fireworks in an empty Red Square in Moscow. And in the hard-hit UK, London's Big Ben chimed to signify the nation's official split from the European Union. In Japan, bells rang in 2021 at this temple in Tokyo. Celebrations were quiet after the city reported more than 1,000 new coronavirus cases in one day for the first time. New Zealand was one of the few places where thousands could ring in the new year together since the country successfully contained the pandemic. And large crowds gathered in Wuhan, China, where the virus began its first destructive sweep nearly a year ago. Nancy Chen, CBS News, New York.
Well, here in the Magic City, the celebration may be a bit subdued this evening, with establishments having to close by 10 o'clock. Plenty of people did still make their way to bars and restaurants around town to ring in the new year. And law enforcement across the state wants everyone to know they're well aware people will be out. They're asking everyone to celebrate responsibly or be prepared to face the consequences. Now, one Montana sheriff says he's concerned they may see more people on the roads after drinking.
We're starting to see people that, okay, you can't be in a bar, so let's get in the vehicle, have a couple beers, and a couple turn into a couple more. And generally, you'll do something that will attract our attention.
Well, marijuana will officially become legal for recreational use here in the state of Montana when the calendar flips tonight. Before the new law goes into effect, MTN's Andy Johnson joins us with some things that you need to know.
A lot more than just the year changes between today and tomorrow. Starting tomorrow, marijuana will be recreationally legalized in the state of Montana.
Imagine people will probably have, some amount of people coming to all the stores ready to buy. But yeah, we can't do that, so.
Recreationally legal starting January 1st, but only 2 things take an immediate effect.
Any individual will be allowed to grow a certain number of plants in their house and have a certain amount of product on them at all times.
So you can grow it and possess it. But a lot goes into growing the cannabis plant.
In Montana, you're going to be primarily in an indoor situation, especially in the wintertime. So you're going to need things like supplemental high-intensity lighting or LEDs, some type of watering apparatus. It's some work.
As for when it will become available for purchase, it could be years.
Probably not going to be until 2022 when the licensing goes into place. So we're kind of in a weird area right now where it's legal to possess, but it's not legal to purchase, and so there's a lot of uncertainty.
But with new laws comes new responsibilities.
No, there will be limitations to what people can do. And, it'll be up to the legislature to make sure that they effectively regulate that in order to, maximize tax revenue and public safety and public benefit, and without risking the public's health.
The biggest takeaway to understand is that it is a process, and processes take time. Reporting in Bozeman, Annie Johnson, MTN News.
Montana, South Dakota, Arizona, and New Jersey all voted to legalize adult use of recreational marijuana in November's election. Montana's minimum wage will go up tomorrow. The minimum wage will increase by 10 cents an hour to $8.75. The Department of Labor and Industry estimates that increase will impact between 8,000 and 10,000 workers. It's about 2% of the workforce. Montana's minimum wage is adjusted annually based on inflation as a result of a 2006 ballot initiative that was passed by Montana voters. Tonight, Montana's death toll due to COVID-19 related illness has risen above 1,000 as the state reported another 19 deaths today. Cascade County reported the most with 12, bringing its total to 107. Dawson County also saw 3 deaths today, while Park and Gallatin counties recorded 1 each. The state's death toll now stands at 1,006 with a total case count of more than 82,000. More than 200 patients remained hospitalized with the virus. To the south, Wyoming health officials confirmed 33 more coronavirus-related deaths today. All of those deaths coming within the last week, with Laramie County seeing the most with 7. Wyoming now up to 438 COVID-19 deaths and a little more than 38,000 confirmed cases. A shooting investigation in Billings has now turned into a homicide investigation. Billings police say that a 39-year-old man from Mississippi has now died after being shot early Sunday morning. Police found that man in the front yard of a home in the 2800 block of 3rd Avenue suffering from a gunshot wound after they received calls about a disturbance with shots fired. No arrests have been made yet, and police are asking anyone with information to please call them. All right, turning to Chief Forecaster Bob McGuire for his first look at the weather. Bob is retiring after 3 decades. If you haven't heard, we're certainly going to miss you, Bob, and we're going to be hearing more goodbyes from current and former employees as the night goes along. But first, tell us what we can expect for the first day of 2021.
Yeah, before I hang up my sling psychometer or something like that, I'll tell you what we're going to do. Let me show you. It's time. It's New Year's Eve, right? And so what are we going to see tonight? Really, it's not going to be that bad tonight. Check this out. On New Year's Eve tonight, we're going to see temperatures probably cool back down to 26 degrees, but clear skies tonight. And then what about for New Year's Day? Well, let me show you. This isn't going to be too bad either. You're looking at mostly sunny skies on New Year's Day. 2021 is going to have maybe a temperature of 43 degrees, and guess what? It even goes higher from there, so things are going to be looking pretty nice. So yeah, the way things are working out, it looks like it's going to be a good start to the new year, and going to wish everyone a happy new year. Please be safe out there tonight. Russ?
All right, thanks, Bob. If you've been up on the rims to see the teepees up there, you may also notice the rocks that have now surround each one of those. Q2's Shaquille Cozart finds out more about what they symbolize.
The 7 teepees that line the rims, which honor those who have died due to COVID-19, are now surrounded by rocks and stones decorated with names, pictures, and stories. These rocks and stones were placed by people in the community as a way to honor the loved ones lost.
This was from Winnipeg, Canada, a friend of mine, but he's from South Dakota, Pine Ridge. And it's an honor for me to put this down for him. He's had a loss in his family and struggling with the trauma of that. So, it's a good way to honor them.
Snell says that each one of the many stones placed around each teepee gives people or families an opportunity to start healing.
Each one of those stones represents a family, and I think it's really important. It's just not a number, it's just not a statistic. It's a story about their family and a loss of a loved one.
Snell says that he is happy that people from all walks of life, ethnicities, and races have come together to help honor those who have died due to the pandemic. He says the last day to view the teepees will be January 2nd, and teardown for them will start on January 3rd. In Billings, I'm Shaquille Cozart with MTN News.
Thanks, Shaquille. Still ahead on the MTN 10 o'clock news here on Q2. As Bob prepares for his final forecast here on Q2, we learn how it all began over 3 decades ago. But first, time for the first round of farewells.
Bob, I am so excited and happy for you as you start this new adventure in life. You've been such a gift to the Billings community, and we're so thankful for you. I know I, for one, am so thankful that I had a chance to work alongside you for so many years at Q2. I learned a great deal from you along the way. Who else would have taught me important weather terms like howling like a big dog, or how to fry an egg on the sidewalk in the summer heat? But the things that I learned from you, Bob, that were the most important were behind the scenes, like when you fought cancer like a champ, and when you visited so many classrooms across our region, getting kids excited about science and weather. You also did a marvelous job teaching young weather forecasters and mentoring them behind the scenes at Q2 and impacting so many careers. Bob, you are a real gem, a real blessing to our community, and I'm just so happy that you get to relax and enjoy retirement. May all of your skies be sunny. Congratulations, my friend.
Bob, congratulations on your retirement. I want you to know that it was inspiring being your coworker. It was a treat being your neighbor, and it is a blessing being your friend. You deserve all the good things that are coming to you.